Green flags on a first date. When he says, get whatever you want, and lets you pick like 7 things off the menu. When he leads the conversation and asks you all the questions. Like, you'd be surprised how men really don't know how to have a conversation these days. He asks you meaningful questions, like stuff about your family, your friends, religion, your career, not just, did you grow up in San Diego? What do you do for fun? When he doesn't shit talk his exes if they do come up in conversation, or just girls in general. Red flag if he says she's crazy. If he asks if you want anything else, or if you want like another drink or dessert before you guys like completely close the tab. Do not assume I'm done without asking me. When he doesn't pressure you to kiss you on the first date, like men need to just know like a kiss on the first date is probably not happening. And if you just don't pressure me at all, that's going to make me feel even more enticed to go on a second date with you.
In other words, a man who has no problem wasting his money by allowing her to order half the menu and keeping the entire conversation about her and only her. The only types of women who want to order 7 things on a dinner menu are simply looking to take advantage of a guy, and it's really that simple. And when she's not taking advantage of his wallet, she demands that he must ask her endless questions while avoiding talking about himself. And what makes this worse is how she will also just write you off if you end up talking bad about your exes. Considering the rise of modern women becoming so mentally unhinged that there has been a dramatic rise in psychotic ex-girlfriends, he should be able to mention it if it comes up in conversation, but she's the type of woman who believes that all women are victims and all men must have done something to drive her into madness. It doesn't matter what this woman's green flags are because she's a walking, talking red one. Modern women have been completely losing their minds over on TikTok as per usual. I've got a few clips for you here today from Locke the Bounty Hunter, so let's just jump right into it.
Can we talk about when a guy makes a girl pay, or he doesn't open the door for her, or he's just not being a gentleman and he's like, well, you wanted equality. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? We wanted equal rights, like women should be able to vote and stuff. What? That's literally it. No one asked to pay for anything. No one asked to open their own doors or carry their own suitcases. Don't be manipulative like that. That's crazy. Don't flip it on us like that. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? We wanted to be able to speak and have a voice and get jobs if we wanted to. But please, that argument is so crazy to me. It's really funny. I'm like, oh, you're stupid.
He's honestly trying to convince the world that there's such a thing as selective equality, that these women demanded to be completely independent, which means opening their own doors, working their own jobs, and living their lives completely free without a man. And by doing so, they became insanely masculine, but still demand to be treated like women. It doesn't work that way. The second they got their independence, they must face the consequences. Which is kind of weird because these women love to bring up arguments like not being able to vote, not being able to work, and lest we forget the whole credit card argument. These are things that haven't been issues for several decades, if not centuries, and they act like they were somehow on the front lines and deserve admiration for it, but all they really want is for someone else to open their own doors and pay for their dinners for them.
The best dating advice I can give you guys from someone that is engaged and dated a lot of people. Ow! I actually think I just broke my wrist on Jacob's gun case. Invest into people that are investing into you. Don't invest into someone that you like. I always, when I was dating in the beginning, would invest into people that I'm like, I feel a connection. I feel like we're compatible. He's really attractive. He has all the qualities I like. But he wasn't investing into me. And then I started investing into them. And then I got a heartbreak. And I think you can save yourself from a lot of heartbreak if you just only invest in the people, in the guys that are actively investing into you. Match their efforts. They do less, you do less. You do nothing. You walk away. You find someone better.
The worst possible dating advice a woman can get is from another woman who claims that she has dated a lot of guys. That goes double for any woman who's just gotten quote unquote recently engaged. It just shows that they have a lot of baggage, they have trust issues, and they have been ran through by so many damn guys. They will always think that their experience gives them knowledge, but all it does is prove how terrible they are at giving advice. And to make it worse, she openly admits to trying to lock down a guy like Chad and got repeatedly heartbroken because she strictly went after men who weren't about to take her seriously. Openly admitting that you kept getting into obvious situationships with men like that isn't going to fare well for a woman who's about to get married. If anything, it's just going to destroy the marriage because women like this are not capable of emotionally bonding or even respecting the men that they are with.
What's it like to be single and dating in your 30s? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked, let me tell you. So I've been seeing this guy for a few weeks, but I've known him for a while now. We haven't had like the what are we doing conversation yet, but we're having so much fun together. He has been whining and dining me. We have been going out and doing things. Like, he's always adamant that I know that it's not just about sex for him. Plus, like, we talk every day, we text, we call, like, for all intents and purposes, we are dating. So yesterday, he decides to come into the bar that I work at to visit me. So he's sitting there by himself, and this group of girls walks in, and of course they sit right next to him. And they are shameless in making their move. And I get it, because he's successful, he's attractive, he is very comfortable by himself. Like, these are all very attractive qualities. Plus, like, it's kind of fun when other girls are hitting on your man, because you're just like, yeah, like, I know he's a catch. But then it got kind of like not fun. They were getting a little too touchy, and the conversations were getting a little too deep. And mind you, I'm working, so I'm like half paying attention, but mostly like making drinks and taking care of my other guests.
The first problem with this story is that she assumed they were dating when it was obvious that these guys were just having bedroom fun and the dude was playing her. She said it herself, right? For all intents and purposes, they were dating, even though that phrase practically means nothing nowadays. It's just a saying that these women use to give off the idea that men are taking them more seriously than they actually are. But these women are so desperate for something real that they have taken basic terminology and warped it into something meaningless just to make themselves feel better. Honestly, we need to take this woman's story with a complete grain of salt. We have seen far too many modern women fabricate stories to make themselves feel like sympathetic victims. If we take her story at face value and this guy came to where she worked and women were hitting on him, then it's fairly obvious that he wasn't taking her seriously. She just didn't want to believe it because she wanted him to feel the same way as she does. And it's rather interesting how she can tell the guy is having a deep conversation with some random girl at a bar, despite the fact that she's supposed to be working. This story clearly just doesn't add up.
So finally this group of girls leaves, and then he's like, I should go home. And I'm just like, yeah, you probably should. But then another group of girls come in, and of course they sit right next to him too. Once again, they start shooting their shot. Kind of over the whole game at this point, and once again, it just gets to be too much. So long story short, I literally watched this man leave the bar with another woman. Never felt so small and disrespected, because literally I'm working, so I'm wearing this ugly ass uniform, I'm doing my job, I'm getting paid to take care of him and these girls. I'm not a jealous person, and I know that we haven't had that conversation yet of like, what is this? But also, like, if you're gonna do that, don't do it at my place of work while I'm literally there. Anyway, haven't heard from him since. Probably won't ever hear from him again, because I think he probably knows that if he reaches out to me, like, I'm probably gonna go off on him. So anyway, that's basically what it's like.
If that guy really did leave the bar with someone else, then it's plain to see that he wasn't serious about this woman. Guys like Chad have millions of lines. They will feed women like this if it means getting some low-effort bedroom fun. But these women will fall for it because that man has every quality they want, and they will ignore the red flags every time. And we know that this dude is a Chad because, according to her, women were naturally flocking to him, which means that lots of women want him, which means that he has options. But it is rather funny how she thinks he's avoiding her because he's afraid that she's going to go off on him, even though nothing could be further from the truth. He's just no longer interested in her because it's fairly obvious he got sick of her, and he has significantly more options than her. But women like this will always try to downplay the whole thing, even though they spent so much time talking about how much he hurt her. But she will most likely fall for another Chad, and she won't be able to help herself as the cycle repeats itself. But anyway, guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Click this video that's up on the screen now if you want to see more. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.